Hey, what's up you guys? It's Six. Welcome back to my channel. So first things first, I just want to say that I might be getting sick again. So if my voice sounds really raspy or if I sniffle a couple of times, my bad. I'm suffering. Hopefully I will be normal again by next week. But anyway, getting into the topic of today's video. So I did mention this last week. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen this trend yet. I don't know if you're on TikTok. I don't know what your For You page looks like if you are. But on my For You page, I have been seeing a lot of people doing this trend where it started out as just cats, but it's various different animals now. I've seen deers, I've seen lizards, I've seen horses, I've seen so many different animals be done with this trend now, but I wanted to take a focus on cats because that is the main focus of the trend, and also because I have a cat and I don't have a lizard or a horse. So anyway, I've just been seeing this trend going around and I thought it was really cute, and again I wanted to focus on cats because the body of the trend, I guess where it came from, was surrounding like this theory or this rumor or this fact. I'm really not sure which. I'm not sure where it originated, but there's this thing floating around that says that anime proportions are based off of cat proportions, and I thought that was super freaking cute. And I've been seeing so many speed paints and like attempts at this challenge on TikTok that I'm like, it looked so easy. It looked so easy, and it isn't. It's not easy at all. It's really hard. I had to do so much backwards thinking. So let's get into it. So obviously you guys have already been seeing, and I hope you're excited. We had to do a sketch to finish for this illustration because obviously I wanted to see, or I wanted you guys to see where this came from. It wouldn't make sense to do this challenge jumping straight into line art and rendering as I usually do, because then you wouldn't have seen, number one, my precious adorable cat, and number two, where we started from. I mean, I can flash the picture of the cat on screen, but you know, getting from point A to point B, how did you do that? That wouldn't make any sense. So I had to put aside my fears and work sketch to finish. And I don't know if I've talked about it on this channel before. I'm almost assuredly have, but it's been a while. I hate sketching on camera. It scares me so much to sketch on camera because when I do, I'm almost always constantly thinking about things like, oh, I'm erasing too much, or oh, my hand's at a weird angle, and luckily with this I don't have to worry about my hand because you guys don't see my hand, but I'm just like in the background, I'm not thinking about the art, I'm constantly thinking about what it looks like from a visual video experience, and I just kind of like talk myself into being like, that looks bad, that's horrible, that's terrible, it looks atrocious. Luckily for this one I was kind of distracted this day, so I didn't have that too much in the back of my head at first when it came to the actual sketching project or prospect. I also cheated a little bit because I did the sketch and then I turned off the recording and she was still bald and had like no other features when I had initially stopped sketching, and then I went over to my sketchbook, which I will flash a picture up on here if I remember, where oh, what did I do? I drew like a basic little sketch, and then I hopped on Pinterest and I found all of these references for cool like hairstyles and stuff, and I tweaked them a little bit so I could make them fit the kind of vibe that I was going for, obviously. And then I sketched them traditionally because, again, I have been sneaking in traditional art wherever I can, because it has been just so nice to get back into traditional media. I'm really excited to do some more pieces with it, hopefully maybe some for Patreon, maybe some personal pieces, I don't know, more for this channel, definitely. I've just been really wanting to do stuff like that. So I did a traditional sketch that was really loose. Obviously you guys probably maybe saw if I remembered. And then after I did that, I pulled the sketch back up and I sketched out the rest of the portrait. And when I first got the sketch done, I did not like it. I didn't like it. It was really Oh, so the first thing that confused me, that kind of had me going woo in my brain, was that I didn't realize until I had traced over her features, she's squinting in this. she doesn't have both of her eyes, you know, fully open the same way. She's weird. She's a weird cat, and I love her. Maybe it was the sunlight. This was taken very early in the morning. I went to go check on my cantaloupes that we planted earlier in the spring, which, by the way, I'm so devastated about my cantaloupes. I'll talk more about it in the Patreon podcast if you guys want to hear about the devastation that occurred. But anyway, so we had gone out to check on those, and I took a picture of her because she was so pretty. The little morning sunlight hit her fur and was making her look like so chocolatey and cute. She's a black cat, but her fur absolutely fluoresces. Is that the right word? I don't think it is. It shines brown. It's very pretty. She's so cute. She's such a cute cat. So anyway, like I said, she was squinting, and at first I was like, that's cute, I can work with that. We can give her kind of like a sneer kind of an expression, you know, make her look kind of like punky, because she is a punk. She's definitely a punk. So obviously if I'm gonna make a character based off of her, she should be a punk too, which worked excellently well for when it came to getting the character's design put together. But when it came to the line art in the sketch, things were difficult for me. For one thing, working off of a kitty cat's features, a lovely little baby's features, were so confusing for me because the eyes are huge, which makes me think that anime theory may be very true. The eyes they were so big and so spread apart from each other for like a normal illustration of mine. And I was like really trying to work on making sure that this still looked like my art style. For a while, I was gonna do like a cop-out route where like the central theme of the video, I guess like the title and the voiceover, would be talking about how working from this altered my art style, essentially, because sometimes that happens. You know, you work with a different medium or a different material and you end up, you know, with something that's a little bit different than you would normally work with. Like when I worked with gouache on that ladybug, it was very like I had lots of like strokes that I wouldn't normally show in my paintings or stuff like that, because I'm a big blender, but lately these days, you know, I've been going over top and adding some texture, but with the ladybug, I didn't even have to think twice about it. That's just how gouache made me paint. And then when I did the apple gouache girl, everything was flat. I don't know, something about working with different mediums just kind of shifts my style a bit. And while I'm not working with a different medium here, I'm working directly off of a subject that's unfamiliar to me. I don't draw a lot of cats because I'm bad at it. I gotta overthink so hard when I draw cats. Like when I get commission requests to do pet portraits and it's a cat, whoa, I don't know what it is. It's so hard for me. When I get dogs, sure, I can draw a little puppy dog. Easy peasy, I can draw a puppy dog. A cat? Huh? No. Yes, I'll do it, but it'll take longer. And you will have to tell me that it's ugly. You will have to tell me. You have to be real with me so I can fix whatever's messed up, because I just can't see it. I can see that it's messed up and I'm like, where is it wrong? I don't know. So you, as that cat's parent, have to tell me where I fudged that up. So cats are obviously very hard for me to draw, so you can imagine that working from their proportions is also very curious for me. It's very interesting. And so for a while I thought I was going to end up with like almost like a more cartoonish illustration style. I know my art style is not realistic. It's not even really semi-realism. I would say it's like somewhere in between semi-realism and cartoony anime-ish. I'm somewhere in the middle of something strange. But even still, I was like way further back into like the really, really stylized cartoonish kind of illustration style, which isn't a bad thing, but also wasn't what I wanted to do. I really wanted it to be like from my own art style, and luckily with a lot of trusting the process, a lot of patience, a lot of the liquify tools, I was eventually able to to get to a point where I really liked the line art. I finally, at the end of it, I think what really helped solidify, I think because her expression too was something that really bothered me. Like I said, she had a squint, and up until I had done the last stroke on the graphic liner that I gave her, she just kind of looked like one of her eyes was incredibly smaller than the other one. But eventually, it looked like a squint. It looked like the expression that I was going for. Everything came together, and I was so very grateful because I was literally in the middle of an anxiety attack because just lately I've been doing this thing where I get so absorbed in what I'm doing that I start to panic subconsciously, and then if it doesn't go right, oh no, the chaos, it's it gets bad. I get super freaked out, and I was approaching super freaked out territory until I got to that point and I was like, oh, I can breathe now. That looks fine. That looks adorable. I like it. I think it's pretty. So I was able to go into rendering, and rendering was an absolute breeze. It was so easy. I did not have a single struggle when it came to working on the rendering. I knew exactly from the get-go what I was going to do for her skin tone, I didn't know what color I was going to do for her hair, but I did know, it's going to be easy. So I started rendering her skin. It's very pretty. I really like it. I really like the tones that I picked. I really liked the deeper blush that I went for this. The darker. I think it has a really nice it adds to the kind of punky vibe, but also I think it suits her skin tone really well. Her lipstick was so pretty too. I have been loving rendering lips lately. If you are on my TikTok, I'm so sorry that half of my TikToks are me putting gloss on lips. I can't help it. I just think it's so satisfying. It is so pretty. It is so mwah. I love it. It's the same vibe as adding eye highlights to me. It's gorgeous. It's my favorite part. But of any illustration, it's my favorite part. Every single time I get to do it, I'm like, yes, I love it. Anyway, so I loved rendering her lips, and then it came time to do her eyes, and at this point I was still a little bit on the fence about the eyes. So what I decided to do, I was like, maybe going out on a limb, maybe it's the irises that I don't like. Maybe it's not the shape of the eyes themselves. Maybe it's the irises, whatever direction the eyes were looking. And I think I did draw them in the same direction, but instead of doing a harsh outline, I decided to do the little fadey one that I do with the airbrush, because I've been really liking that look in other people's illustrations lately, and I am so glad I did that, because I think I would not have liked this piece if I didn't do that. I think I would have finished rendering and been like, I hate it, great, now I have to put it out, because I don't have time to film anything else, and it's bad, and I'm sad. But I didn't. I did the fadey, blurry little eyeballs, and they're beautiful. They're gorgeous. I think I'm gonna keep trying to do this intentionally. I don't know. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, which is why I haven't fully embraced rendering eyes like this completely, because sometimes it looks really, really good, and sometimes it looks really, really bad. So we shall see. But I really liked it in this case. I thought it was super pretty. I thought it would really offset all of her harsh features that I included, because there's lots of sharp angles and lines and stuff like that. There's definitely a lot of curves too, because surprisingly cats are very round. So lots of curves there, but there's also lots of sharp angles with her liner, and I tried to a little bit with her hair. I tried to make it look short and punky, but then I gave her a little mullet in the back, because I like mullets. I think they're pretty. I think they look really cute. So I went into her hair after, obviously, and her hair was a bit of a question mark for me. Immediately I knew I wanted to go green because the eyes were green, obviously. So I was like, maybe I should do green. Initially I thought I was going to do black or another probably darker color. But after I did the eyes, I was like, I gotta do green. And then my partner was like, what if you did black and green? And I was like, oh, I think actually he told me to do black in a different color. And I said, but what if black and green? And he said, but what if Billie Eilish? And I said, no, Billie Eilish only has it on the roots. I can do it for most of the hair and then black on the tips. And he was like, yes, okay, let's do that. You should do that. And then I did that. Rendering her hair was really fun. I have been rendering hair a lot differently than I used to in the past. I should maybe do an updated tutorial. Rendering her hair was so easy, I might just make next week's video, an updated kind of hair tutorial, and I might use her as an example. I might use a different character, I'm not sure. But it was so simple. It was so simple. It was so nice. And then adding the black on top, I actually technically used a very, 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 very dark blue. I didn't want to use jet black, and I didn't want to use anything that was desaturated, because I felt like that would take away from all of the vibrancy in this character, because her skin is very vibrant. Obviously her hair is very vibrant. The only place I would say is kind of desaturated would be her eyeballs, because they're kind of like a seafoamish green, because that's what color my cats are. So obviously I wanted hers to represent that a little bit. So I went in with that dark blue, and I did like a lot of, I did this on a separate layer. It was on a multiply layer so that I could see the shading, obviously, of the hair underneath. I didn't want to lose any of those lines. And then they just kind of went back and forth with like kind of blending up, erasing down, adding some texture, but also making sure it still looked like hair, and like her hair was that color and not like it was just dipped unceremoniously into some hair dye unintentionally, you know, like a big block of color. I didn't want that. I wanted it to look very intentional, very pretty, very nice, purposeful, and not just like a last minute decision to throw some black on the end. And I really like how she turned out. She's so freaking cute. Again, I'm so glad that I decided to push through this illustration, because I wouldn't have this really cute drawing if I didn't, and it's a really cute drawing of my cat, and I love her, and I'm tempted to make her into a sticker. I'm tempted, but because I am, once again, I'm gonna mention this again, because today's the last day. Oh no, you guys haven't even said, oh, I actually don't need to mention this. My Etsy's already down when I upload this, because on recording day is the last day to buy anything from my Etsy shop. So if you didn't do it now, she's gone. But anyway, if the Etsy shop either comes off of vacation mode or if I switch over to coffee, I will possibly be doing stickers of her, because she's cute. I like her. I like her vibe. I think she's adorable. Anyways, I hope you guys liked this illustration. Let me know what you guys want to see on the channel next. Of course, I want to give a huge shout out to my patrons: Elise Thompson, Duran, Mandy, Sleeps, Created by Twins, Inkymoo Art, Psych Walker Art, Fish Nor Flesh, Akita Kai, and Watery Turd. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for continuing to support me on Patreon. It means the world to me, especially with how crazy the economy has been. I never thought I was gonna be a big grown-up adult who talks about the economy. My God. It's crazy, and I don't understand that stuff a lot of the time. I get really confused, but I see how much eggs cost, and I understand that that's bad. So thank you guys for taking the time out of your day, out of your busy schedules to support me. It really means the world to me. And again, if you guys are interested in the Patreon, it's patreon.com/six.studios. There's a lot of cool stuff on there, including a bunch of speed paints I'm about to upload on there that you guys will not see here. And also the Patreon podcast, which is going up, is already up. Was up a couple of days ago. I'm recording it today, which is why I'm confused. But there's a ton of cool stuff on there. If you guys want to check it out, feel free to, no pressure, and keep an eye out for a potential new shop. Anyways, I love you guys so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.